Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that Green Screens Media train. What is up? This is One and Done, your fast break for all things college hoops. Yeah, the portal's closed. So what? One and Done's wide open, and we're happy that you're here hanging out with us tonight. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about two transfer classes like we normally do, Ohio State and Arizona State. These might be a couple of transfer classes that aren't like the ones we talked about before, which are maybe considered like winners of the portal. Tonight, we're going to talk about Ohio State and Arizona State. Those are two programs that are going to have everything lined up perfectly with this class in order to snag that spot in March Madness. We're also going to talk about 5 down transfers that we consider to be impact transfers. I like to call them the Big Dippers, going from the high major to the mid-major level. So we're going to give you 5 of those. And also, Rapid Fire pew, 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 is back. You know who else is back? El Capitan himself, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. You can follow him on Twitter at MCHolland34, the OG Money Mike Holland. What it do, baby?
What up? What up? Hey, so what if, there's NBA playoffs going on right now? We're here to talk about off-season college hoops, right? And so is Sam the Sniper, man. Welcome back, dude. What's up? Dropping us a comment already. So
love it.
Sam, hope you enjoy the show. Appreciate you coming by. Stick with us all year, man. Yeah, we do everything here with all things college basketball. But I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling rested. You know, the portal closed this time last week. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. And I'm excited about today's show. One of the big things that happened, Jay, and I got to get your opinion on this thing, man. Caleb Love, right? Like, what happened here? Getting the old decommitment from Juwan Howard in this Michigan program, and talks of admissions issues. I'm not going to really, dive too deep into that, man. But this is a big time player, man. What were your thoughts on this situation?
I'll dive into it, and I think it's ridiculous that we're still pretending in this day and age that these guys are still playing school. These are basically professional athletes at this point, with certain terms that they have to fall under, right? But if we're gonna say that one of those things is that they have to complete a certain number of hours to move up in classification, it does seem like Caleb Love allegedly was not taking care of business in the classroom. I hate to say that, and you don't like to see that sort of thing from a young man in college, but something happened. If it was admissions, if it was an NIL deal, if the Wolverines weren't, backing up the truck for a guy like Caleb Love, who happens to be the number 3 player on the top 300 board over at drroto.com, it's frustrating to see this, man. And Michigan, Mike, that is not a good-looking roster at this point. Caleb Love was going to be able to go in, man, and just soak up all that usage. And now, what are they going to do?
Yeah, man. I mean, Kobe Buffkin gone, Jet Howard gone, Hunter Dickinson gone. I don't know, man. They're going to need to, luckily there's some guys like Zyron Pullen from UC Riverside jumping into the transfer portal. So, although our top 300 board has about 10% of the guys left, I mean, there's still 1,700 guys that are in the portal. So you're going to be able to find some guys that are out there. But when you lose a player of this caliber, like, this is going to hurt, right? You're really going to have to do some coaching this year. Juwan Howard. Now, for Caleb Love, we think it's going to be Missouri, Indiana, and Texas, our boys down here in the Austin area. I don't know how I feel about that. What are your thoughts?
I don't feel about it. I texted you, though, man, when we were talking about this, and I said, like, if Rodney Terry tries to turn Max Asmus into now I lost my train of thought, into
Marcus Carr?
into Marcus Carr from 21-22. Like, not the, I mean, you look at it's that, but the deal with this is, and we're going to talk about Asmus here in a little bit in relation to some news from somebody coming back to Texas. But I don't know, man. I don't think that for a guy that's taken over his first Power 5 program, if Caleb Love is the kind of, to me, he reminds me a lot of your buddy Russell Westbrook in regard to the high volume. You're not always going to get his best on every night, but good luck to him. And before we move on, Mike, I did want to say, like, at this point in the portal season and the way that rosters are filling up, I'm sort of curious if he's going to be one of those big dippers and go down into a mid-major to be that guy, because his game necessitates around him to handling the ball. And there's some mid-majors that could really use him. Not saying it's going to happen, and if it's an NIL deal, it probably won't happen, Mike. But it'll be very interesting to see where Caleb Love ends up.
I mean, if he wants to get his 25 shots, he would do that. But I think Missouri, man, with the style that Dennis Gates runs, and that's who we kind of thought from the beginning. It was going to be either Missouri or Indiana, and then Michigan out of nowhere. Maybe not following through with some promises and things like that. Who knows, right? Like, we only have so much information, and a lot of it comes from Twitter. So do with that what you will. But I think he's a perfect fit for Dennis Gates' system. Indiana, I wouldn't mind seeing that. They could use a big-time scorer. So we'll see what happens. But, man, got to get your thoughts. Tyrese Hunter announced earlier today that he's coming back to Texas. So this is obviously huge news for Rodney Terry, man. So I got to ask you about your thoughts on, Hunter and how he's going to play with A-Smith. And then, dude, what's up with Dylan Mitchell being able to shoot the three? I guess he's going to the NBA now.
So frustrating to get those reports from Dylan Mitchell. Good for him, but he shot 0 threes all season last year at Texas, and he shows up to the combine and he's a freaking sniper. He's not Sam the sniper, but he's a sniper.
Right.
But yeah, man. But to talk about Hunter here, like, that A-Smith Hunter backcourt, that's in contention for one of the best backcourts in the entire country. They're probably going to split ball handling duties. I would much rather have Hunter handle the ball a little bit more than A-Smith. We've seen A-Smith can distribute, but I'd like for him to just be that out and out, bucket, like our guy at Fantasy Nav, Eric Romoff,
at Fantasy Nav, and then I think Fantasy Nav is more of an isolation player like Caleb Love. I don't know.
Well, he's isolated tonight, but of course, at Fantasy Nav is never too far away. So make sure you show him some love in the comments, and make sure you follow him on Twitter as well. But Mike, Hunter played a big part in that Elite Eight run for Texas, and as a Longhorn supporter, I was happy to see him coming back.
Yeah, this is going to be a great backcourt, and this is a much-needed news. There was thought that you could get Hunter and Mitchell back, but like you said, man, Mitchell shooting lights out with his athleticism, the fact that he was a top 5 recruit. I don't think he's coming back. Somebody's going to snap him up in the late first round there, I would assume. And then Lubin from Vanderbilt, he is going to head over and play for old Jerry Stackhouse. Finally, Vanderbilt getting some good news after we've talked about it on previous shows, Jay, like the mass exodus, right? Tyron Lawrence gone. I mean, you can just go down the list. Jordan Wright's gone. And, I believe it was Eric that brought up Evan Taylor when we did the last rapid fire segment that we did a couple of shows ago, as, someone that's going to be very important. And now Vanell and Lubin, I mean, this guy is an awesome recruit. So we'll see what Stackhouse is able to do. We know that this guy is absolutely going to get every opportunity possible. So I'm excited to see what Vanell and Lubin. I think him and Taylor could form a nice little 2-man game with Stackhouse. So outside of that, man, that's pretty much all the stuff that kind of bounced off my head, man. Any thoughts on Stackhouse?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's at Vanderbilt, they had that Exodus movement of Ja people. Oh, yeah. But, other than that, that's, it's a good get for Lubin there to go to Vanderbilt. But anyways, man, this is good stuff there. It looks like we got a question from our guy Sam real quick. Let's get that pulled up if we can. What do we got here? What's your opinion? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, yeah. What's your opinion on Mozarra and Auburn News, the guy from JuCo? I mean, I know you're obviously a big Auburn supporter. It's not going to necessarily move the needle for me. I would really hope Auburn tries their best to get Tyron Lawrence, or there's going to be some more guys popping into the portal here. And there's still some quality players. So we'll see, we'll see how it goes. This thing isn't going to slow down. I mean, we like to joke and tease, but every day there's still legitimate news that pops up, which is why we're here 2 to 3 times a week, man. So Let's we spent a lot of time off the opening. We got 3 segments to dive into, so let's jump in.
Yeah. Hey, Simon, thanks for popping in those comments. We appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube or your Twitter or wherever you are, make sure you reach out to us. Let us know you're watching. Let us know if there's a team that you'd like to see us cover, their transfer class or anything else, any other questions that you want to ask, man. We appreciate the interactions. And while you're here hanging out with us, make sure you smash those like and subscribe buttons. Pew-pew. And turn on those notification bells as well, so you know every time we're going live and you don't miss a minute of this college basketball coverage. Like I said at the top, first segment tonight, we're going to spotlight 2 transfer classes that maybe aren't just jumping out as winners, right? Like we've gone through some of these that, well, man, these absolutely jump off the page. The roster makeup, everything looks like they're just primed for a nice run in the season. Here's a couple that, Mike, these rosters, along with these transfer classes, everything's going to need to line up just right. So let's talk about Ohio State first, bringing in 3 transfers, all 3 inside the top 300 board. Not 1, not 2, but 300 that we got Mike up to. Thanks to y'all in the comments, and thanks to me and old Eric the Blue, the Baron of Bread, really riding him. But tell me a little bit about this Ohio State roster and how this transfer class can impact it.
Okay, so one, I'm going to start by talking about Coach Holtman and the ridiculousness of, and I'm sure if you followed my Twitter, you saw that. Come on, Ohio State fans, you can't fire this guy. Like, he has 1 bad year. I mean, he's shown what he can do. Before I get off topic, let's move on to this roster here. I think he's a great coach. I'm gonna really judge him on this year. He kind of gets a free pass for me last year. Very young team, right? So, you lose Bryce Sensabaugh, not great, right? Justice Suing, okay, he's been there forever. Sean McNeil, he was okay. Tanner Holden didn't really work, moving up from the mid-majors, and now he's going back to Wright State, which is going to be a lot of fun. So he should probably average 20 points per game going back to his former school there. But expected to return, man. Like, these are guys that played a lot last year. This is freshman class. Bruce Thornton looked really good towards the end of the year. Roddy Gale showed some flashes. Felix Opara looks like he could be, in a couple of years, a major force on the inside. And then, expect to return to Zed Key, who, slot into that power forward, even play the center position there for them. Injury towards the end of the year last year, but he had some big – there's one game against Iowa where he absolutely destroyed them. I remember playing the DFS slate being like, what is happening right now? So, you get him back fully healthy. Recruiting class is nice. I mean, you have 3 4-stars coming in. I really like Scotty Middleton. That's going to be a really nice player. And then you also have a 3-star coming in. So, Holtman doing it through the draft and trying to build and develop right. Outside of Sensabaugh going to the draft, right, he was able to keep his other freshmen, and he's getting a chance to develop these guys, and that's going to pay dividends, man, when these guys are getting minutes and getting on the court. But this transfer class, it's good. It's not going to jump off the page. Jamison Battle, we have him at number 30. Some people are probably going to have him outside the top 50. I just look at like the stats don't really jump off, man. And he played like 35 minutes a game for the last couple of years for Minnesota, and he was really the only guy. Like, he had to do everything there. That's really the only guy you had to try to stop. I mean, he can go for 30, and just a ton of experience. And now he's going to be around better players. He should be able to have a pretty nice season. Should contend to start at the 4 spot there. Del Bonner, who's a guy that we got to see a little bit, Jay, in the Big 12. Down here in person, and look, the numbers don't jump off the page with this guy, but it's really just been about opportunity with him. He comes from a very tough Baylor squad. He's a 2-way player. He's going to come off the bench and give you some pop offensively and some pop defensively. And then Evan Mahaffey, we've talked about him a few times as he entered the portal, coming over from Penn State. He's 6'6", 200, a wing, can handle the ball a little bit, a great defensive prospect, and just didn't get much run. I mean, pretty tough when Penn State's running out, 5 guys that have 5 and 6 year experience out there last year for that team to surprise, man. But what's your takeaway on this roster and Coach Holtman?
Look, this is not a shot at Mahaffey, but the college basketball transfer portal is the only place where you can average 3 points a game and under 2 boards, and you're a hot commodity, right? But this guy's skilled. The skills are there. There's a reason that we haven't ranked this high on the big board. And like you mentioned, he's a great defensive prospect, which is where Ohio State sort of struggled last year. It was not a great year defensively, but Ohio State did finish in the top 20 in offensive efficiency for the fourth straight year. Super young roster, right? This is why you can't fire Holtzman, man. This roster is so young and inexperienced and sort of trying to find their way. Thought he actually did a decent job, all things considered, with the layout of this roster. And now, just like some of these coaches, Mike, that we've interviewed, when we talked to them about the portal and what they're looking for, man, experience, getting these veterans in here. All these guys played 27 games or more last year. Like you said, Battle, he was that dude for the Gophers, even though the stats don't jump off. That wasn't, it was what it was there in Minnesota there. But Bonner and Mahaffey, don't let the stat lines fool you. These are players that are going to hop in right away and have a big impact here for the Buckeyes. Last year's freshmen will be the key to success. They're a year older, obviously. Obviously, Bryce Sensabaugh left for the draft, Mike, like you hit on there. But I think there's some things to feel very good about if you're a member of Buckeye Nation here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these are, if you're only going to get 3 players in the portal, these are 3 guys that can immediately come in and have an impact on your roster with those young players, have a little bit of leadership there in the locker room. And who knows, if everything does fall, this could be a team that, by the end of the year, nobody really wants to play. I could very well see that happening, especially with a guy that is a good coach. For sure, man. So, yeah, it's just it'll be interesting to watch. Some of these teams that we're seeing, Mike, bringing in 6, 7, 10, 11 players, in the portal and completely making up a roster. Ohio State's not having to do that here. They're bringing in 3 guys with a roster that are very familiar with each other. There's a chance to be successful here right away.
Yeah, especially when those guys were highly recruited, a freshman class from the year before, and then you bring in some more freshmen. I mean, it's going to be split down the middle, right? It's going to be half a young roster, but it's a young roster that, so these guys have played key roles. So, yeah, I think Ohio State by the end of it could be a middle of the road with a team that you maybe don't want to play in a Big Ten that, who's going to be wide open, as we like to say.
Yeah, well, and again, if the Big Ten gets 27 teams in again, like they don't deserve, Ohio State could very well be a freaking tournament team, no matter what. That's it is what it is there. So, no, good job there by Holtzman to get these 3 guys on campus, and good stuff there. Good stuff there. Looking forward to actually seeing how this develops. Like you said, in a wide open Big Ten. Buckeye Nation, if you're hanging out watching us, make sure you leave us a comment. Show your team some love. Show your coach some love. He deserves it. Do it.
Prisoner of the moment, man. The guy can coach offensive basketball. It's just, you got to have the dogs to get in there and do it. And when Zed Key is basically your top returning guy, and then you hand the keys to Thornton and Sensabaugh, and it's just going to have some things happen. So they should be better defensively.
It's not just about the X's and the O's. Sometimes it's about the Jimmys and the Joes. And now they're getting some of these guys with some more experience, along with that freshman class too. It's going to be an interesting year up there for Buckeye Nation. Let's head a little bit out west now, Mike. Those Arizona State Sun Devils. All right, now here we go. Here's a little bit deeper of a transfer class, right? A little bit more roster turnover here for the Sun Devils. 7 transfers, including 4 inside that top 300. Tell us about the Sun Devil roster a little bit, Mike, and then how these transfers can come in and impact them out there in the Pac-12.
Yeah, well, this is a massive overhaul for this ASU team. And, we got some guys in limbo, right? Marcus Bagley. I don't really know what's going to happen with Frankie Collins. We'll see. As of right now, projected guys coming back, Jemiah Neal, averaged 5 points, flashed a little bit. Alonzo Gaffney, he's okay, 3 points per game, more of a backup big. And then you got a ton of guys headed out the door, right? Both Cambridge brothers are gone. Warren Washington jumped in recently, so they got a void with the big man. Duke Brennan's gone. Luther Muhammad's not going to be there after being there for a few years. Austin Nunez, who was probably their best up and coming, development piece, but I think has a chance to be really good. He's headed out to Ole Miss there to develop under Chris Beard, so I expect him to be a pretty good player here in the future. But yeah, this is a team that Hurley is going to have to make all these pieces fit, like you said. And 4 of these guys are in our top 300. He does have 2 4-star recruits coming in Nikhil Watson and Braylon Green, so they're going to factor into this. But key piece here, man, when you lose someone like like DJ Horn, right, is you got to get someone that can score, man, and that's Adam Miller, and he's another year removed from injury. That's kind of plagued him. Started his career off at Illinois, was at LSU for the last couple of years. Finally played a full season last year, and just a former big-time recruit, man. Guy can score in bunches. I expect him to have the ball a bunch. Sean Phillips is probably the guy I'm most excited about, but he's probably going to take a little bit of time, right? I mean, little nickname Baby Shaq, and he's 7 foot, 245 pounds. There was a game last year, I believe it was against Georgia, where he finally got some run, and in 25 minutes, he had 13 points and 10 rebounds, and it was like, man, like just a little bit more development from this guy, and he's going to be expected to come in with Warren Washington headed out, and some of these other bigs that are headed out. Him and Brian Salabange from Tulsa, who nearly averaged a double-double in a pretty solid conference there, 12 points, 9 boards, and just a tough player, great finisher around the rim. He's not going to give you much else offensively. He's not going to stretch the floor. He's just a guy that's going to finish around the rim, do some nice things like that, and give you some defense on that side. So, looking forward to Phillips and Salabange playing key roles in that front court. Kamari Lands is another guy, kind of like Phillips. Lands and Devin Reed last year for Louisville, 4-star, almost top 50 type prospects coming in. Just didn't get a ton of run. There's a lot of potential with this kid. I mean, 6'7", 6'8", 220 pounds, has the pedigree, chance to unlock some potential here for Coach Hurley. So could Kamari Lands break out? Potentially. It's kind of tough with that Louisville squad last year, Jade. So that was tough to read that entire team. And then you have Zane Meeks, Bryson Long are also coming through. Zane Meeks, we've watched him play out the WCC. He's never played more than 20 minutes in a season, but he's played 4 years of college basketball, so this will be his 5th year. And then Bryson Long, like Houston Christian, averaged almost 15 points per game, shot 42% from 3, so it can stretch the floor a little bit. But, I mean, can he do this at the Power 5 level? And this Pac-12 has gotten, a little bit better as the portal has gone on. So what are your takeaways, Jay, from this ASU squad? I don't know if I see them in the top half. Maybe a chance if they can put some of these pieces together. Like what stands out to you, man?
Yeah, I don't know that, we let up with this. I don't know that this really jumps off the page. I don't know if this is something that immediately gets it done for them. But here's the deal. Let's look at some positives here. Adam Miller, instant impact scorer. You needed it, right? So you get that in Miller. Sean Phillips is 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. I'm a big fan of the size. Plus, anytime I can get a Baby Shaq comp, I can dig that for sure. Mostly because it reminds me of playing with him and against him on NBA Jam. But again, like I dig a Baby Shaq comparison, and you love it when you see the flashes of brilliance, right? And we saw that in that Georgia game. So we'll see if Phillips can make that impact out west here. The long-term upside is obviously there for Phillips and Lands as well, So it'll be interesting to see how this roster is managed when there's this much turnover. Yeah. It doesn't always mesh well, especially at the start. So it may take a little bit of time for them to figure this out. But Miller, Phillips, and Land stand out to me as really as the stars of this transfer class. And I'll be watching Phillips a little bit closer than any of the other ones to see if he can make that impact in the land of the bigs, which college basketball has become. Because if he develops a little bit of that consistent offensive game,
huge.
That will be big for this Sun Devil team, no doubt about it. All right, ladies and gents, that is our 2-team breakdown. Ohio State and Arizona State tonight. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about those 2 transfer classes. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Smash them off the top rope like Randy Savage. Jump up, Macho Man. Gotta hit the subscribe button. Boom, yeah. Oh.
I think we're only 10 away, Jay, from 500 subscribers in less than a year, man. Can we get some love?
Show us some love. Everybody that subscribed to us, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being a part of that Green Screens Media universe. We appreciate you. Show us a little bit of dub over there on YouTube. Smash those buttons. Before we move on to our big dippers, it looks like we've got another comment here from our guy Samuel. What do we got here? Live. Are we breaking news here on One and Done? Is this what's going on here? Mozarra just committed to Auburn. Is that right?
No, I think that was a little bit earlier that he committed. So yeah, I mean, obviously, and he gets a good get right. I mean, yeah, Chad Baker, Mozarra. I mean, I don't know, man. Anytime it's, I'm just real careful with JuCo, right? Like, I don't have him on the big board. I know that he had a good season. I mean, the guy's a good shooter. It's just exactly what Auburn needs is more. And we already talked about how they've gotten some shooters. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just made the tweet on Twitter. Yeah. I saw a thing earlier today on Twitter that was saying that, I don't know if it was a crystal ball that I saw, but that was potentially going to happen. So
nice.
We'll see. He previously played at, I believe it was San Diego State before he went to the JuCo ranks. So I mean, anytime a guy can shoot.
Will transfer to Auburn, was at San Diego State in 21-22. Just came across the screen there, Mike. You were right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So he's a shooter, man. Like, look, college basketball, Jay, what did we say? The three ball is like almost 4 points sometimes, man. Like, so yeah, he's definitely going to it looks like Sniper here's pretty pumped, man. Look at him jumping in these comments. Has that experience playing for San Diego State, man. So yeah, I mean, a quality get. We'll see. I know he has that that experience. The Mountain West is no joke. So you go to the JuCo ranks and you just kind of blow up, and yeah, we'll see. Hey, there's like when you combine what is it, Division I and Division II, there was like 2,600 players in the transfer portal. So yeah, it's absolutely nuts, man. Samuel Sniper, we're happy for you and them Auburn Tigers.
Yeah. So technically, I mean, that is some breaking news live. Just getting that announcement here on One and Done. If you were watching us and you aren't glued to Twitter like we always are, we hope you found out from us. And thanks to our guy Samuel the Sniper for dropping that knowledge.
We'll see if what happens with Tyron Lawrence, man. I heard there's some other players coming in for him, and then Julian Phillips has been linked to them as well, and then also Texas. We'll see what he does. If you think, look, Samuel Sniper jumping in, I think if we get Lawrence, he'll be better off the bench. Yeah, well, we'll see, man. I don't really want to start Katie Johnson. That's a whole nother show, man. We gotta. We'll have an SEC preview. We'll talk a lot about this, all these rosters, man, once we get more clarity on the rest of these million players that are in the portal.
Definitely. Love you hopping in there and talking with us in the comments. We always appreciate that. If you're watching and you want us to get to your comment, don't be afraid. Drop it on in there, like I said, after you smash those like and subscribe buttons. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight and always. Let's move on now to the next segment here on the show, talking about our 5 down transfers that are going to make a big impact at their new schools. Like I said, I like to call them the old big dippers, dipping down from the high major to the mid major. Mike, let's go ahead and start off with the number 295 player on the big board.
And then to clean up Samuel the Sniper's comment, he's saying that Mozarra is better off the bench if they get Lawrence, so which makes a little more sense to me. So I do agree with that. So yeah, let's jump into these. Man, these guys right here, Jay, like they don't get the the publicity whenever you down a transfer, but wow, we see it every year, man. Every single year, Raekwon Battle sticks out, Brandon Pajemski sticks out. Like there's just number of guys that can really boost their NBA stock, just their college stock. Like it's crazy. So yeah, we'll start off here. And this is a guy that we talked about a commitment in this same segment, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And we got to re-announce his commitment here, and that's Will Shaver, former 3-4-star prospect from North Carolina, 6'10", 260, going over to Andy Kennedy, committing to UAB, was formerly committed to Belmont. And I thought that was a good fit because Belmont's had a history of developing bigs. And gonna go ahead and give it a shot here at UAB, and that's not a bad decision. I mean, Coach Andy Kennedy, hopefully we can have him on at some point this year as we cross the Great American Road Trip, interviewing these college coaches. Look, Andy Kennedy, all he does is win at UAB. I mean, the first 3 years, he's won 22-plus games. He's been in the top. I think he had 51st last year and 47th the year before in KenPom as finishes there. So, this is obviously a good spot, Jay. What are your thoughts about getting the former Tar Heel that has some upside? Oh, got you on mute, Jay Bird.
Thanks, man. For me, it's just more about an opportunity for a big like this, right? Especially at UAB, it is a good spot. Belmont would have been fine for him, but UAB is a good spot too. Obviously, joining Barry Dunning from Arkansas over there at UAB. Dunning was a 4-star recruit himself, so not bad. Couple of good gets there for UAB, and we'll see what Shaver does. Obviously, you don't go to North Carolina because you can't ball. So 6'10", 260. It's hard to argue with the size there. He'll throw his body around a little bit, and we'll see if he can get it done over at UAB.
Yeah.
Let's jump up a little bit. A couple of spots here to 291. Guy that we talked about quite a bit, hoping he would make that leap and find a way into the rotation at Florida. Just didn't happen, and that's probably why he's moving on now to Chattanooga. Tell us about Trey Bonham.
Yeah, there were flashes, man. Like a couple of games where Bonham got in there, and that guard rotation, I mean, it was absolutely out of control. It was obviously Todd Golden's first year and just trying to kind of figure out what he wants. We talked about how well Florida is recruiting the transfer portal this past year. And look, Bonham, man, he was pretty good at VMI the year before. Averaged 13 points, 4 assists, didn't even, less than 30 minutes. I think Trey Bonham here is going to be, someone to look at as we start to preview these mid-majors, and someone that could maybe explode onto the scene. He had a couple of games, and I remember this vividly, a DFS, and I took him out last minute. I was going to win the contest, and I took him out. I forget who I played instead of him, and he had his career game at Florida and absolutely sunk me. And I think we got a new comment here, Jay, coming in from Force Ghost Fabio. And I was actually thinking about him from the other day, man, talking about the bigs that San Diego State has missed on. And we did see this earlier today on Twitter that Campbell forward Jay Powell got committed to them. And, man, shot nearly 60% from the floor. He's 6'9". He's a nice player. I'd probably rather have Keyshawn Johnson. But, hey, look. Right? You go to the Final Four, you can't complain about a lot of things. So, another quality get, man. So I appreciate the comment there. Force Ghost Fabio, another classic name there. And, Jay, any thoughts on Trey Bonham and, the opportunity of him sliding back down? This is a guy that, we talked about went up to the higher major, now sliding back down. Any thoughts on him and, what he can do next year?
No, I mean, he averaging 13 and 4 assists the year before going to Florida. Dude's going to be a factor, right? It's just immediate impact there at Chattanooga. Curious to see how he handles the adjustment again, that sort of up and down in terms of the levels of competition. You don't forget how to ball,
right?
But sometimes when you're not out there getting that run, it might take him a second to get back into things. But I definitely expect him to be a major factor in that conference and at Chattanooga as well. Jumping up a couple more spots here, Mike. We're living in the 200s today here on the impact board here, on the big board, but it's also the impact board. We can call it whatever we want. It's the board.
It is the board, and it's official.
It is the board. It is official, and this is number 288. On that big board, going to Rice of all places. Tell us about it, Mike.
Yeah, Sam Alajiki from California. Someone that for the past couple of years I thought would have made more of an impact. Now Cal has been a mess. We've talked about it. The kid's 6'7", he's 230, very athletic. I mean, he has the physical tools to really affect both sides of the floor. I believe it was last summer he was in the FIBA under 20 and played pretty well. So I would think that coming over to Rice that, he's gonna get some minutes, and with that, I mean the production, right? He shot 36% last year, but Cal liked to play 14 guys. It felt like, so they used to pick someone out of the crowd there to run the point a few nights. It feels like so. Averaging 6 points and 3.6 boards in limited action. And I think Alajiki's got a chance here, man. What are your thoughts on him sliding over to a Rice program?
Yeah, I didn't mean to slight Rice there. They have been a nice program of late. It just doesn't really jump off the page, right? As some where you consider a guy, but like you said, Cal has been an absolute mess. Matson's in there cleaning it up right now, and I think he's going to work wonders over there, especially with that new facility, $75 million facility or whatever the hell they're dumping into that program. Makes a lot of sense, right? Why? Because we questioned it initially. And when you have that kind of commitment coming to you from your administration, it makes a lot of sense. And Matson's done a good job there, but Alajiki will not be there moving down to Rice. It keeps him relevant, I guess. This is a player that will keep Rice in the conversation a little bit,
especially after losing Quincy Olivari, going to I believe it's Xavier. So, yeah.
Would you consider this almost a straight swap there in terms of? How would you consider that in terms of Alajiki sliding into that roster?
Yeah, I mean, just I think he's got a chance to be a 14, 15 point scorer. Maybe that's a bit much. Maybe he just gets to 12, 13. I think he can affect you on the defensive end. Olivari, we saw him play Texas, and they didn't nearly beat Texas. That was the first game that Rodney Terry coached as the head coach of Texas, and Olivari had a really nice game. I think that game went into overtime, and we were like, what is happening? We're not going to make the tournament. And then, so as far as can you replace him? Not really. Obviously, a different position, but could he pick up the scoring slap? Absolutely. And it looks like Samuel the Sniper jumped back in here. Man, loving the Auburn here. Fun fact: last time Auburn went to the Final Four, they had 2 JuCo players make huge contributions to the Final Four run. This year, we added 2 new JuCo players to our team, along with Denver Jones. Denver Jones, I am a fan of. Stretching the floor, could score. FIU product. We'll see how he transitions as going to the mid-major up to that vaunted SEC conference. I don't know, coincidence? No, I don't know, man. Could happen, right? Absolutely. So, let's move on. Jay, who do we got next, man?
Number 273 on that top 300, living in that bottom part of this. No disrespect to these guys, though. Dishon Jackson action. Going from Washington State. Yeah, there you go. Going from Washington State to Charlotte, another big man.
Yeah, and we didn't see him last year. It was really weird. It was an injury. It was kind of undisclosed, but then there's pictures of him on Twitter. So I don't know. I mean, all I know is at one point a few years ago, he was a starter for Washington State. Charlotte's losing Ali Khalifa, who we've talked about, going to BYU, and he was a very nice player for a Charlotte team that was really good. I mean, Bryce Williams from that team is going to Nebraska. So they're losing a couple of pieces, but in this, they gained some upside, right? As a former Power 5 player. So, I mean, he should slot in. Don't know exactly, what that's going to look like, but look, you need talent, and this kid is definitely someone that can provide, some pop as long as he's good from injury, man. That's going to be a key question. So we'll see what happens here.
He's going to Charlotte, not this Charlotte. Okay, not
the number 2 pick.
No. Oh God, do we have to go down this route?
You brought it up.
And I shouldn't have even. Mike has absolutely been borderline insufferable, which I would have done the same thing if the Rockets would have gotten the first pick. Okay, so I totally get it. But anyways, not the second pick, Hornets.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah, I did. This is on me, and I take full responsibility for that.
I saw something on Twitter that said Charlotte has gotten the second pick in the same draft that Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Davis, and I forget, maybe it's Hakeem Olajuwon. They've been the number 2 pick every time. I know Charlotte wasn't around in 83 or 84 or whenever that was, but it's probably somebody of that Hall of Fame caliber that they missed out on. The cursed franchise, when you have Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning and Muggsy Bogues and you don't make it work, I don't know what to tell you. Man, what a team.
The glory days, man. The glory, those those turquoise uniforms. And then when the third, that was one of the first like third uniforms the jerseys that I love so much. They had the purple, all solid purple ones. Those were so dope. Absolutely.
Samuel the sniper jumps in and saves us. It was Dwight Howard.
There we go. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Hall of Fame guy,
Yeah,
Hall of Fame guy.
Crazy,
so,
right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't feel sorry for Charlotte. So.
No, I don't either. But back to Dishon Jackson here. We'll see what kind of impact he has coming off of that injury. Again, 6'10", 250. You can't teach that size, but we'll see. Going to have a chance to play all the minutes that he can handle with Charlotte. I'll say that. So if he can stay healthy, stay on the court, we'll see what he can bring to the table. Looks like we got another comment.
Central.
What up, MM Central?
Did we decide that was Money Mike Central, or is that Mid-Major Central?
I believe it was Mid-Major, not Money Mike. I believe it was Mid-Major.
It's my burner account.
Yeah, exactly. Chattanooga has done a phenomenal job in the portal lately. Bonham had 21 against A&M last season. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Anytime anybody can drop a 20 burger on the Aggies, I'm all for it. But good stuff there. Good stuff from Chattanooga for sure, Mike.
It's supposed to be equal opportunity college basketball, okay?
I'm an equal opportunity hater. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, you can book it right there, baby. Thanks for jumping in those comments, man. Good to see you again in the show. Last one here, Mike. Move on up to Cam Hayes. Tell us a little bit about the former LSU guard.
Yeah, Cam Hayes, man. I did not know where to rank him. It took me – he slid up and down the board for me. I mean, look, like he's super talented, man. He just disappears, and I don't know if it's been the coaching, coupled with just some of his own doing right. But he's 6'2", he's 185 pounds. He's coming over from LSU, joining up with former LSU coach, old wiretap Will Wade himself, and
wiretap Will.
Headed over to McNeese State, who. MM Central should be super pumped with how this McNeese State class. I mean, Shahada Wells, who we talked about for TCU, didn't get a ton of run because obviously you have a ton of guards there at TCU. Mike Saunders is headed over there from Utah. So, I don't know if Willie Wade's going to be there very long. I should be able to put some things together in year one. But enough about Willie Wade. Cam Hayes, though. Man, like the pedigree's there. He's a former 4-star, not 5-star, 4-star, and came over from NC State. And I don't know, man. Like at times he's looked pretty good, Jay. Like, what's the deal with this kid, man?
I would agree with you, and I would say at one point during the season he was LSU's best player for a 2 or 3 game stretch. But again, it's so hard to get on the floor and get into that rotation. When we talk about our DFS shows and we talk about spinning the wheel, sometimes it feels like these coaches are spinning the wheel sometimes trying to figure it out. And I didn't understand why Hayes didn't get more run after that 3-game run where he looked like the Tigers' best player. Like it was eye test, he passed it.
Yeah. So, it was like KJ Williams and then spin the wheel on whoever else he thought was going to like do anything for them. Juice Hill, Adam Miller. It was just a Trey Hannibal.
It was tough. It was tough to really gauge that roster last season, but McNeese State gets a good one there, and Cam Hayes for sure. And again, with these big dippers, as I like to call them, looking for more time, looking for more minutes, looking for more usage. Hayes is somebody to definitely watch down in the mid-majors at McNeese State. We definitely, absolutely, first show appreciate everybody hopping in those comments tonight. Keep them coming. We're going to answer them if you put them up there. We can even ask us, at Fantasy Nav's favorite burger to get from Pete Terry's. Terry's is like a local thing, right?
Pete Terry's is a local thing, man. We got to ask, gun to his head, like, is he gonna eat a McDonald's hamburger or a Burger King hamburger? That's the tough question right there. If you had to eat one,
it's not that tough to me. I mean,
you going char-grilled?
No, Listen, I love the smell. I used Burger King. There's a Burger King in my hometown before there was a McDonald's. That's how small my hometown is. There's a Burger King, and you can drive by there and smell it, and I love it. But I'm committed to McDonald's now. I am not withdrawing my commitment and re-entering the portal. I will not be recruited by anybody. I'm a McDonald's guy for sure. Mike, before we move on to the rapid fire, McDonald's or Burger King?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I'm a McDonald's All-American when it comes to college hoops.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Mike was a McDonald's All-American when it comes to college. There he is.
Oh,
Whopper,
he's so contrarian, man. Like,
he would pick
so
a Whopper.
contrarian.
The flame broiled. He would pick the Whopper. He would for sure. Hey, thanks for checking in. We told you our guy Eric the Blue, the Baron of Bread, is never ever too far away. So we're glad that he checked in the comments as well. We're glad you have. Everybody else that is watching, checking out those comments, hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. And that is hit those like and subscribe buttons and that notification bell. Appreciate y'all. Let's move on to this final segment now of the evening. It's time for rapid fire. We'll work on that. Oh, man.
Hey, you're not up at the hoop. Oh, sort of.
Does that pop up if I don't give the intro? We're not going to, don't chance it, don't test it. Rapid fire. I don't have a hoop to dunk on. Well, there's already that hoop above my head right there, but yeah, we're good. All right.
You're just going to dunk on yourself.
Yeah, well, it's happened more than once in my life. I promise you that much. But let's move on from that. Rapid fire segment here. We're going to run through these real quick. Mike, question number 1, which conference do you think is going to be the most affected by the portal when it's all said and done?
I'll keep the SEC theme alive. Look, we haven't talked about, I think, in a month since they made the massive splash with getting everybody's favorite guards, Arkansas. And man, like, rewind, and it's like they just broke the portal. Eric Musselman, it felt like, and they're going to have a lot of options next year, especially in that backcourt. So Arkansas going to be retooled, reshaped. Florida, we talked a lot about as a team that we think really addressed its needs with Castleton heading out. Georgia, we had them on last show talking about them as I had to dive off screen from a coughing attack. So if you guys stuck around for that, that was pretty hilarious. Ole Miss, I mean, Chris Beard already doing Chris Beard things. We saw that down here in the Austin area for a year and a half. We Auburn, we've talked about. LSU is going to look completely different. South Carolina's actually done a few good things. I mean, man, like, just up and down this thing, it feels like the SEC is got some new look rosters. It feels like a bunch of these teams. Vanderbilt too just got, obviously Vanderbilt and Lubin. We'll see, man. I feel like this is the conference that's probably gonna be affected the most, Jay.
You can have Musselman ripping off his shirt, and I'm going to have Mark Matson dancing after winning a championship ring, baby. Yeah, this Pac-12, man. Matson adding a ton of talent. Fardaws Amack, Jalen Tyson from Texas Tech. This is the Cal squad. We talked about it earlier. They have not been good. Like, they have been hot.
Newsflash.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't been paying attention to the Pac-12, and if you haven't, I'm not necessarily blaming you, but Cal has not been good at all, and Matson is doing great things out there. Teams like Utah, Arizona State, who we talked about earlier, solid moves there. Got to like the direction that the Pac-12 is moving here in the conference. SEC, I get it, man. This is the impact. You look at the instant impact right there, the names that pop off the screen, I can see that, but I think the Pac-12, in terms of how this conference is going to look top to bottom next year, I think that the Pac-12 will have a say in that. Question number 2, Mike. Moving on here. Give me a mid-major to mid-major transfer. Sometimes we talk about these, mid-major to high major. We talk about the high major to mid-major. Give me a mid-major to mid-major transfer that you think has a chance to make a significant impact with their new team.
Yeah, I'll go with J-Fet Metter, the guard from UTSA. Got a chance to watch some of his games last year. And pretty strong. And he's headed to Fordham, who, I thought was going to fall off the map, after losing their coach. And they didn't. And this is a wide open A-10. I mean, look, he's top 100 in the country in efficiency on jumpers off the dribble, and he's got a decent steal rate. Can really get to the free throw line. So, yeah, I'm looking for good times to keep rolling for Fordham, even though they lost Kyle Neptune. So last year to Villanova, I'm looking for Fordham to kind of stay in the mix. It's a wide open A-10.
When we're talking about the old mid to mid, I'm going to go with Zid Powell.
All right.
Buffalo guard going to UTEP. Now, don't look now, but UTEP is solidifying their backcourt with this pickup.
I feel like we're being homers, UTEP and UTSA down here in the state, but hey.
I don't even care. I mean, I'm loving this move for Zid to UTEP. Good score in the MAC last year. Yeah, Zid Powell. I love it.
Is he on your all name?
No,
all name?
No. About to say it. Not unlike first world all team, all world first team. Zid probably can slide into the third team with a name like that. I don't know. You got because usually it's the first name, last name combo that jumps off the page. You know, but Zid, you know,
Zid the kid.
Good name, good score in the MAC last year. Lots of experience he's going to bring to UTEP. So
hey, you got a new comment here, man.
Hey, let's splash it up.
Hey, talk about all-world names. Man, our comments are all-world names. Ours are boring, man. Ant the Kid, new sub. I love college basketball. I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. Thank you, man. Like, if you've I'm following what we're doing for the past year, we've been on 2 to 3 nights a week, and really during February and March, it felt like we abandoned our families and and everything.
It felt like it. It felt like it because we did. But hey,
absolutely,
we love it. And the kid, appreciate you for the sub, for hanging out, for the comment. Tell the hoopheads in your life about us, man. See if they dig us too. We appreciate that. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, it's all things college basketball, right? Like DFS. I mean, betting. Right now it's the offseason transfer portal. We've interviewed 8 coaches already this summer. We got more on deck, man. So if you got a favorite team and you got a coach that you want us to interview, we are trying to get that done for you guys.
Definitely. Appreciate you. Thanks for checking in. And the kid, definitely an all worlds commenter name for sure. Question number 3, Mike. Yeah, first team, all commenter name. Question number 3 in this rapid fire. Last time we did this rapid fire segment, I asked which transfer and team made the most sense, which transfer going on to their team just made sense. It felt right. Give me one that maybe more of a head scratcher. Let's say that.
Well, I think we've kind of teased this in previous shows, especially when it happened, right? I think the first thing I texted you once we saw the commitment go down for AJ Storr from St. John's going to Wisconsin was, well, that's weird. I don't even think I put that's weird. I just put weird. I don't know how this works. I mean, Wisconsin, he's going to go from a St. John's frantic pace. He took a lot of bad shots last year. I think he's a talented player. Not only because he helped me win a DFS slate one time, but because, you could see it there. He takes a lot of bad shots, though. He's going to have to clean that up. I mean, Greg Gard, he's not going to be one that's going to have one guy out there trying to do it all by himself and plays that slower tempo. He's not going to be, top 5 in pace, so he's going to be in a slower tempo. Can he adjust? He's going to have to be more under control. You have to play some defense, man. There was some times last year where Mike Anderson pulled Storr and was like, oh, if you're not going to play any defense, like you're just not going to play, which was infuriating for DFS purposes. But, hey, Greg Gard, man, like if he's willing to fight Juwan Howard, I think he's okay with sitting players. So AJ Storr, kind of a weird one, man. Who do you got in this category?
I think Storr could benefit from slowing down in general. I think that might have been a big part of his issue, was just feeling like he had to go so fast. So this could do some good for Storr in the long term. I'm going to go with our guy, Kerr Kriisa. Obviously, last year, just a straight shooter. Like our guy Eric says, he's a bucket at times, but really tailed off as the season. Yeah, exactly. But really tailed off as the season went along. Out there, out west. And now he's heading from out west to West Virginia to play for old Huggy Bear, who still has a job. Yes, he still has a job. That is correct. Kriisa is that showboat, in-your-face, trash-talking guy. Huggins ran into some issues with Eric Stevenson sort of being that guy. I mean,
why would Eric Stevenson play 40 minutes?
I don't know. Yeah. Either way, man. I think, we know that Kriisa can shoot the lights out of the gym. Like we've seen it. There's no doubt about it. It feels like a weird fit for a culture that Bob Huggins has built there. Not just at West Virginia. And I don't mean any of the other off the court stuff, man. I mean, just like the type of basketball and the expectations at West Virginia. It is a head scratcher, man. But the Big 12 remains the best conference in the league. Kriisa is going to get to play against the best competition. And West Virginia is a program that you get a guy out there along the three-point line shooting 37, 38% from three. It could pay off dividends. It's just it doesn't feel like a fit. It's square peg, round hole.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird, man.
For me here, yeah. We got another comment here. What do we got here?
Yeah, let's see. And the kid back said, "Yeah, the DFS content's great. I can tell y'all really watched the game. The very first video I saw was the MSU KSU video, and I made tons of money. Nice, man.
Let's go.
Awesome.
That's what I'm talking
if
about.
I could brag for a second, I won 3 big jams last year. I didn't make the tournament though. After I made it the year before, whatever, man.
That's all right. Hey, you were the big jam king at least there for sure for a while. That's why we call you the OG Money Mike. But yeah, man, and the kid, way to go. Thanks for the kind words there. We appreciate you checking in. And yeah, man, love to hear that. If you watch our DFS videos, or if you haven't, know that, yeah, we're doing this now. But once the season rolls around, we're hitting DFS hard and heavy on a regular basis on those big slates. So stick around now for the offseason news. Hit that subscribe button so you know what's coming up. And just know that once the season rolls around, you know, we're breaking necks and cashing checks because that's what we do here.
Hey, Jay, and you know, for first-time commenter here, when we do our DFS shows and you see Eric give a pick, you just know to fade it, and you are going to win money. So it's not fair because he's not here to defend himself. So I would say that to, you know, he would probably say that though.
Yeah, whopper. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for chiming in, Eric the Blue. So way to go. Love it. Let's move on to this rapid fire segment that is slowly becoming less rapid. Q4, what top transfer has the biggest shoes to fill, Mike?
Oh, man, top transfer with the biggest shoes to fill. I'll go with Medea, Tyler Perry. Man, talk about some shoes to fill. He's going from North Texas to Kansas State and taking over from Marquise Noel. Yeah, we're going to have to try and recreate some of this magic in year 2. And the guy's a clutch player. I mean, if you have to pick one guy coming back in college basketball for clutch rating, I mean, he's almost a 99 if we can get college basketball back for the I remember the last game system I played on. Maybe it was a Nintendo 64, PS2 maybe. But yeah, so we'll see Tyler Perry. He's going to be key for Kansas State next year. He's stepping up to the big leagues. We talked about how you know, that he was going to have to make some noise for this Kansas State team to stay relevant in previous shows, and that doesn't change. And then Graham Ike, you know, I always want to say Ike. It's Ike. Going from Wyoming to Gonzaga, man. Shoes to fill. Drew Timme, right? Like coming off the injury too. Like, Jay, does that feel like a bit much to ask? Even though the guy averaged 19 and 10 the year before his injury with the all headband.
Yeah, it's hard to find 2 bigger pairs of shoes to fill in college basketball than Noel and Timme here. Tyler Perry, though, me and my guy Travis used to talk about people that had throbbing clutch jeans, and Tyler Perry has such a thing. And when I say throbbing, I mean pulsating.
Oh,
this guy is the man when it comes to clutch, and Ike definitely is going to have to. You know, nobody can replace Drew Timme. I'm sorry, but if he gets his run and he stays healthy, obviously. Was a big reason for that down season at Wyoming last year with Hunter Maldonado sort of, you know, just we expected big things out of that Wyoming squad, and they were just decimated. And Maldonado himself was hurt for a while. So not a great season out there last year for the Cowboys, but Ike heading over to Gonzaga here, obviously. But I'm going to go Big 12 honk here, Big 12 homer. I'm going to say Jameer Nelson Jr. from Delaware going over to TCU. Our guy, Mike Miles Jr., absolute stud.
Your fave.
The last few years. He was my guy, definitely. Not only was he a stud, but he was the face of that program, whether you want to believe it or not. Not you, but in general, the general public. He was absolutely the face of that program, even though he had a little bit of a downswing slightly last year. Picked it back up again, obviously. He's a great ball player. Jameer Nelson Jr., some big shoes to fill there at TCU, taking over from Mike Miles Jr. Question number 5 here. Who is a team that has some question marks still on their roster as the portal winds down?
Woo! Alabama? Getting kind of quiet, right? Like we we were like, okay, Aaron Estrada, from Hofstra, a guy at 25-5, and can he make it happen at the SEC level? I think he could. I don't know that it's going to be to that level. You even mentioned, Jay, that he could probably be more of a facilitator. Latrell Reitzel, I mean, he's a good player, another mid-major guy that's going to have to step up. But look, you're losing Brandon Miller, Noah Clowney, Jaden Bradley's heading to Arizona. Namari Burnett is probably the last man standing in Michigan. We're not sure what's going to happen with Mark Sears. Javon Quinterly was huge last year. I don't think we know what's going on with Charles Bediako either. So there's no big-time 5-star recruit that, is coming in like a Brandon Miller. And Noah Clowney, man, for what he did last year is pretty underrated. So, I think they got to come up with some more talent in the portal here to really make this thing work. So there'll be an interesting follow over in the SEC. So, Jay, give me a team, man. Who's got to do some more work, man? Who's got to get busy during these hot dog days of summer?
Yeah, there's a couple that I'd like to say, but for the sake of this segment, I'll just stick with Georgetown here. Bringing in Ed Cooley to really just bring this program out of the dumps. They had a lot of high hopes there, bringing in the alumni, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out there in Georgetown. So they also didn't land any big time transfers. Only one inside our top 100. None in the top 50. Going to be a big-time rebuild after Patrick Ewing just sort of left the program.
With Ed Cooley.
So, again, this is another Ohio State fan. This is another program that needs to be patient with the head coach that, will be dealing with the short end of the stick, to say the least. So I'll go with Georgetown there to wrap up the rapid-fire segment. Man, we've been going for an hour, but it feels like it flew by, really, guys. And that's in part because of all the comments y'all have left. Thanks for the interactions. Thanks for the subs. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know what's going on with us at Green Screens Media and here at One and Done. This was episode 2 of our 3-part series, talking about the portal here. We'll have one more episode next Monday, so make sure you are ready for that. Mike, put a bow on it for us. What do you think about tonight's show?
Yeah, loved it. Loved the interaction. A lot of fun. Covered a lot of stuff. And we got more stuff to cover. We're going to have a couple more transfer classes we're going to be talking about. Some of the big names that are left out there. We got the deadline for the, early entrants to come back. So we'll be looking for decisions from Grant Nelson, Arthur Kaluma, and some other guys May 31st. So, we're creeping towards June here, on the other side of May right now. So I think we'll get a decision pretty soon from some guys. Keshad Johnson, potentially to Kentucky. We'll see, if that goes down or where he ends up. I think he's a nice piece that not a lot of people are talking about, man. But, I'm excited to do all the things we've been doing and updating the portal on drroto.com. Check that out. Check out all of Jay's work, over there covering some NFL. Guys just doing it all, man. We're all dipping our hands in a bunch of different sports, but mostly we're here to cover college basketball and bring you guys the content of a never-ending sport.
Yeah, no doubt about it. College basketball never sleeps. We used to say we'll sleep in May. We ain't going anywhere, baby. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And always, this has been One and Done. He is the OG Money Mike Holland, El Capitan, the captain of the Green Screen ship. Follow him on Twitter at MCHolland34. And for at least the next, 2, 3, 4 months, you're just going to have to deal with Spurs tweets and stuff, which is okay. It's fine. Not even mad. It's fine. I'm not bitter. It's whatever. But he's also bringing the heat with all things college basketball as well. I am Jay Heinrich, the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train. Follow me on Twitter at Dr. William Cannon. You know you want to. And, thanks for hanging around with us. You didn't, if you're watching us, you came back again. You didn't fire us like Doc Rivers, you blamed it on Embiid. Wish he could be healthy. But you know what? They fired Doc Rivers, and you know what he's going to do still? He's going to get this bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.